Tony Tone Show on Vintage Sound 93.1 FM with an online exclusive with one of the greatest running backs of all time. Talking MMA, Bellator fighting? Yep. On the MPW Digital TV Celebrity Hotline, he's joining my coworker Joe Kraushour and myself. It's Herschel Walker. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How you guys doing?
We're good. Welcome to the great state of Iowa. My name is Tony Tone, and I have my coworker Joel over here. It's good to have you on the air, man.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on today.
So you got a lot of stuff going on, but of course we're going to talk about this Bellator and some fighting action that is going on tonight at 7 o'clock Central for us. So, Herschel, you're a guy that I feel like, and don't take this the wrong way, I feel like you've always been in great shape and that you could do anything you wanted, and that included playing football and maybe doing some fighting. So talk about, tell us how you've got involved with Bellator MMA.
Well, you know, I've always loved martial arts. I was doing martial arts when I was in college. I would play on Saturdays, go to church Sunday morning, and I fought in mixed and Taekwondo tournaments Sunday afternoon. And I've always loved it. And Scott Coker, who runs Bellator right now, is a friend of mine who really helped me to get into the MMA world in Strikeforce. He's the one that got me into fights in Strikeforce, and once he took over Bellator, and I told him if I can do anything for you, to let me know. And so I came over to Bellator, started working. I'm promoting different fights and trying to help him to do different things there. And at the same time, I put out that I'll fight one more time. This may be my last fight. If I can get it before the end of the year, it'd be great, because I think God has blessed me to do this sport, but at the same time, there's a lot of good young fighters coming out. And I think if I keep my big, ugly face out there talking about fighting, those young guys not getting the publicity they deserve, because there's a lot of good fighters out there.
Yeah, Herschel, this is Joel. We're not too far from Pat Militich's gym here in Iowa, and he's got a lot of young fighters coming up as well. What would you say to young fighters who are thinking about what kind of skill set should they develop at a younger age to develop for, fighting with the Bellator group and moving forward?
Well, first of all, you want to get your cardio together. I think you want to have your cardio together for no matter what sport you're playing, because I think cardio is so important. And, I remember I said, when you get tired, it makes you a coward. When people get tired, they make them a coward. At the same time, you make mistakes. I think get your cardio together and then start working on your strength, mental strength more than physical strength at the time, because you got to be mentally tough to play any sport. In football, they used to say everybody's Superman until you put those pads on. And the same thing in MMA, everyone want to fight until you get hit in the face. So you got to be mentally tough when you're doing this sport. And I think once you get those attributes right there, you can then almost do anything, because then you're going to be willing to work. You're going to be willing to pay the price to do what you want to do.
So Herschel, obviously, Rampage is fighting tonight on Spike, which is great, and that's a guy that you have kind of expressed interest in maybe in taking on. Do you guys know each other? Are you friendly? Is there any kind of relationship?
No, we do know each other, and what's weird about it is the statement that I was going to fight Rampage is a little bit blown up, because the question was asked the other day if I'm going to fight again, and I said I'd love to fight one more time, and then they said, who you like to fight? And I said, to be honest, I don't really call out anyone. And the Rampage was getting ready to fight tonight, and they said, well, why don't you fight Rampage? I said, well, first of all, I'm not going to walk away from any fight. So then the thing came that I'm ready to fight Rampage, which is not the truth. And Rampage deserves his due today. He's got a fight coming up right now. He's trained for that fight, and he don't need to be worried about anything else except his opponent he's fighting right now.
So along with the physical, obviously the mental aspect of preparation for a fight, and you can speak to this, when guys like Rampage and everybody else that's on the bill tonight, Chandler, Pitbull, how much film, are you watching a lot of tape of your opponent? Because, is that where you can kind of mirror it with the experience in the NFL and watching tape and preparing? Is that something that you personally have done or that these guys do?
Oh, no, I do that, and I encourage guys to do it, because, we are creatures of habit. If you throw that right hand, sometimes you're lazy with it, or you're lazy recoiling or whatever, you'll see it. And I think people need to watch the film. The same thing as in football. When you watch your tackle, the way he moves, what he's doing, you have to study your opponent, because they call it professional. That's how you being a professional. That's how you learn to fight. Those are things that you have to do to be a champion.
What is more difficult, preparing for a head-to-head MMA fight or getting your body ready for a 16-game NFL season, Herschel?
Well, I tell you what, it's tough because the NFL is tough. It's such a great game, and it's a team sport. But, when you happen to step in that cage by yourself, looking across the cage at a guy that is trained to hurt you, that's trained to injure you, and all of a sudden it's just you and him. It's not like you're going out in the backyard and y'all having a little fight. You're getting ready to step in this cage with a professional guy that can knock your head off, and that makes it a little different.
You can't go Bill Bates on a guy in a cage, right?
No, you can't do that.
Oh, Herschel, NFL season's going to be here before we know it. I wonder if you have any reflections on during your playing time and kind of where the league is at, and do you still follow any teams in particular? You still have some friends playing, I'm assuming.
I think a combination of all of that. I still follow a lot of teams and have friends playing, and I do follow it as well. I think this year I'm still looking for Carolina to have a great team. I don't know what's going to happen with Denver now since Peyton is gone, and you always look at the Patriots are having a great team because that's just their forte. They're always going to come out and have a good team. But I'm in Dallas. I'm still a Cowboy. I continue to root for them and stuff, and I think Ezekiel Elliott's going to be good. And I'm proud of Ezekiel Elliott as well as Gurley. I think right now we got running backs coming back into the league that are those throwback running backs that can catch the ball, that can line up in that slot, that can open a defense up, and that's what I want to see because people just think that the running backs they're now diminishing. Now you don't see running backs playing all the time. They got this West Coast offense, and I think as long as you get those new breed of athletes that can catch the ball, that can run routes, it's going to make things a little different.
Now, with Todd Gurley, he obviously had a great year as his rookie season, coming off his knee injury from college. Is he a player that you've gotten to know, with you both being Georgia Bulldogs? And have you had a chance to sit down with him and talk to him? He seems like quite an impressive individual to come back from an injury like that.
I have. And I tell you what, he is an impressive young man. He's very, very impressive. And I tell you what, he loves this game. He loves to play, and he pays that price that I'm talking about. Someone that's going to work his butt off, going to be prepared. And, you saw he came back after that injury. He worked his butt off to come back, and he believed he was going to come back. When some people say that it's going to be tough on him, he believed it. He worked his tail off, and you see what he's doing right now. And he's going to do even more. He's going to do not much more. He's going to be even better at some of the things he do because he got more time now.
Herschel, I as a parent, so Joel and I both have young boys, and obviously we both love football. But I wonder if your perspective has changed or your advice to parents on whether or not football would be right for some young men out there. Is it still a safe game that they should get into?
Oh, it is. It's still a safe game. I think. There's no doubt concussion has become a problem, and you got to worry about that. But, kids can get hurt at almost anything in today's world, and I don't think it's going to be something that you have to be that much concerned as they made it out to be. And I think concussion is a bad thing, but kids can get hurt at anything, and don't deny your kid to even play the game because there still is a good game. It's going to continue to be a good game, and they're going to try to get better so that they can get safer rules for them.
If you're just tuning in, that's Herschel Walker on the show talking Bellator MMA and football tonight, 7 o'clock Central on Spike. Don't miss it.
So, Herschel, I rewatched the ESPN SEC story last night on you, and one of my favorite stories is that you used to run against a train that would go through your town in Washington, Georgia, or Wrightsville, Georgia, excuse me.
Yes, I did. Like I said, I was overweight growing up. I was not a good athlete. I was a weirdo kid, and what was strange is I started working out, started training myself, and the train just happened to be something that I trained myself against. It was sort of like I played games in my training because, all the push-ups and sit-ups and all those things are a little boring. So to make it exciting, I started putting little things in, and the train just happened to be one of the things that I added into my workout.
I see a train go by, Herschel, and I just think I would lose every time. I'm not as quick as I used to be if I ever was quick.
Tony and I could be your offensive tackles, Herschel.
Right.
We're both bigger lineman type. So the one question I do have is, as you look at MMA and fighting and your Taekwondo background, how did Taekwondo prepare you in your other aspects of your athletic career? With you were an Olympic bobslayer as well. Not too many guys go from the gridiron to Albertville, France, and push a bobsled. So did Taekwondo help you in all aspects of what you did?
Oh no, it did. Because Taekwondo is a lot of mental things. People think martial arts is all fighting. Martial arts, the reason they call it martial art, it is an art. And it teaches you discipline, it teaches you respect, and that's what people got to learn. And that's what I had to learn. And that's what was so great about it is Taekwondo made me mentally tough. And, one of the things that I tell athletes today and all the young athletes that are out there listening to me right now, you want to stretch. You really, really want to stretch. Stretching is so important for your body, so important for you. And that's one thing that you want to do. And I think because of martial arts, my flexibility was good and stuff, and I knew how to stretch, and I think that helped me out a lot.
Herschel Walker, thank you so much for the time. Bellator MMA tonight, 7 o'clock Central on Spike. We'll be watching. We hope to see you get back into the ring one more time. And you're a class act with an unbelievable story of perseverance, and what a great legacy you've left, and you've inspired so many. Thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you now.
Have a great rest of your day, okay?
Okay, then.
Bye.